Tonight for dinner, I'm going to make some Italian grinder subs. I'm going to start out, I have some romaine lettuce. You can use any kind of lettuce you have. This just happens to be what I have, so that's what I'm going to use. I have done it with regular head of lettuce, and it works perfectly well too. And you just want to chop up your lettuce, and this is going to go on your sandwiches once they'll go into the oven and bake and melt. Get the meat warm and melt the cheese, and then when you take them out, you'll put this on. But I like to go ahead and do this part first because that way it gets to sit and get, excuse me, a little bit of flavor into it. So I just chop up that lettuce. I can't give you specific amounts because I don't know. I just use whatever I think looks good. And then I'm going to take a bowl, and I have some mayonnaise. Again, Duke's mayonnaise because it's the best. I'm going to take 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise. You can use whatever kind you like. It's just that we like Duke's, so that's what we use. So 3 tablespoons of that. Then I have some red wine vinegar, and we're going to put about a tablespoon of that. Normally I would put some pepperoncini peppers in here, the mild ones, but I thought I had some in my cabinet, but I don't, so we're just going to have it without those this time. But we will have the red wine vinegar, so they'll still have that tang to them. So you just take the 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, mix that together to make kind of a little sauce. And this sauce is going to be, once this is mixed up, we're going to put our chopped lettuce in it. I'm also going to chop up some onion, and it's going to go in this too. And that's going to be like our little slaw or salad that goes on top of our subs. So there's that. I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to push my lettuce over so that I can start with the onion. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and put my lettuce in the bowl. That way it'll be out of my way. So let's just put that in there. Give it a little mix. And that probably will be plenty of lettuce. I'm making 3 small grinder subs, so that's probably going to be about right. So I've got the lettuce mixed in, and now I'm going to cut some onion. I think the original recipe I had seen calls for green onion, but I don't have that, so I'm going to use this. To me, onion is onion. It's actually easier to use green onions if you have them. And there my onion has a bad place in it, but I can cut around that. I'm not going to use the bad part. Of course, we will throw that out. And cut off any of it that doesn't look very good. And then you just sort of chop it up. However you want to do it. I think the recipe may say to do it in strips, but I like to cut up into small pieces because this is going to be right in with the lettuce, the mayonnaise, and the red wine vinegar. So I'm not going to do too much, just enough to give it some flavor. That's going to go in the bowl with our lettuce. We're going to mix that together. And then this is just going to sit and get some good flavor to it while we do the rest of our sandwich. And I'll come back and show you the other part in just a moment. The next step in our sandwiches is I take these French steak rolls. I purchased these at Walmart. You'll see that date of 8/28, and today it is September. However, these have been in the freezer, so yes, they're still good. They freeze really good because it comes in a pack of 8, and I only use 3 at a time. So yeah, I have to freeze them, or we would never be able to use them. I am going to take a bread knife and cut these in half because this is what we're going to make our sandwiches on. So the only thing about them is they're not cut in half, but it's not too bad to just take a knife and slice through them. Do that right quick. One more. And then you want to lay those open because the meat's going to go on one side and the cheese is going to go on the other side. So just lay them however you can get them on your baking sheet. And you do notice that I covered this baking sheet with foil because I don't want to have a mess on it. Next, I'm going to take some ham. This is Great Value ham from Walmart. You can use ham or turkey, whichever you prefer. They both work. They're both good. And I'm going to take and put 2 slices of ham on each, on the bottom part of the bread. And I always have to look because I can't tell once it's in there. So I'm going to put 2 slices of ham. I'm kind of going to fold it over. Actually, I could cut it and that'd make it even easier. Of course, you can do this however you want. That's just what I'm doing. Get 2 more slices. Of course, my hands are clean. I washed them before I started. Cut those in half. Put them on this bottom. And then 2 more slices for the third. Cut those and I'm splitting them down the middle so that they'll fit on our bread better. Okay, so there's the third. Next thing I'm going to take is some salami. This I also got at Walmart, even though it's the Oscar Mayer brand. We really like this one. I don't remember in the past ever being a big fan of salami, but I do like this. I think it makes the sandwiches really good. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take 2 slices and I'm going to cut them down the middle so that they fit on this bread better. I'm going to do that for each sandwich. And then on the other part of the bread, we're going to put some sliced provolone cheese. This is the Great Value, of course, that came from Walmart. This is what I had left in the pack, and I have another pack if I need it. But here it is, and you just lay it on the top part of the bread, the opposite side of the meat. There should be enough 2 slices for each one because that's usually how it ends up. I'm going to break those in half so that they fit on the bread a little bit better. And you can tell I don't worry about them being neat because once it's cooked, nobody's going to know anyway what it looks like. They're going to be put together, so nobody's going to see it anyway. So we just go ahead and put that cheese on there. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I also add some Parmesan cheese. This is the finely shredded Parmesan cheese, Great Value from Walmart. Mine is frozen. I keep it in the freezer, but it will only take it a few seconds to thaw out in the oven. And I'm just going to place some of that on top of the provolone cheese. I don't measure. I just put however much I want to put on there and spread it out, and it'll melt all together. Then take some salt and pepper. And some Italian seasoning. You can tell I like Walmart. It's also, so I'm just going to put some Italian seasoning over all on top of the cheese. Once that's on, salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, I'm going to take it and put it in the oven. And I have my oven on, well, I will have my oven on broil. It's not yet, but it will be. Set you down there. I'm going to turn my oven on broil high and start. I did move my oven rack up so that the subs are closer because all we want them to do is to melt that cheese. Okay, our sandwiches have now come out of the oven, and you'll see where the cheese is melted and it's turned a little brown. That's the way I like it. So then I'm going to take that salad that we mixed up earlier with the mayonnaise, red wine vinegar, lettuce, and onion, and then I'm just going to put some on each sandwich. And this will fall all over the place, but that's okay. It's still, you'll get, you'll be able to have some of it on your sandwich, but I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of it's gonna fall off because that's just how it does. You know, anytime you eat anything, it seems like with lettuce or tomato, it does that. It just slides right off your sandwich. So I just kind of divide that. And again, you would make the amount of this you would make depend on how many sandwiches you're making and how much you like it. And we really like it, so we like a lot on ours. So I top all those. Then I take the cheese. There, I put that one on the wrong side. Put that on there. I did it twice actually. I put it, that's gonna make it even harder. There we go. So after the sandwiches are put together, and you can see the top sliding off, you just cut them in half.